Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Minutes with Milo show. We're live. I'm live. We're all live, just maybe not watching the show. But I would encourage everybody that's live to watch the show. That's my good wisdom for the day. So, let's check all of our buttons and dials and thingamabobs and make sure we're putting sight and sound out onto the internet. Now, it looks like we are. Looks like I am. I are. There's Roberto. Live or alive. Is that the way you say that? Live or alive? That's the way I would say that. So, thank you for tuning in to the broadcast, to the show, to the attempt of entertainment. So, if you're new to the channel, thanks for coming by. Like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment, watch through the whole thing. I may give away something at the end of the show, may not, I may probably not. No, not gonna give away anything except free advice. I might give away free advice, or maybe end every show with a dad joke. Those are some of my favorite things. I might have to have another show on dad jokes. We were going to try to get everybody to do this. What was it we were going to do? The movie quote quiz thing, competition. I still need to set that up, make that happen. So tonight's show is kind of about zombies. It's about fungus. It's about parasites. It's about those kind of things that might take over something's mind and make it do things it doesn't want to do. And luckily, there's not too many things like that that do that to humans. So we're kind of limited, somewhat limited, to apparently the insect world. And it was news to me, but apparently ants are quite susceptible to certain fungus, and it gets into their body and makes them do weird things, things beyond their control. And it's fungus, yes, and it's a parasite because it needs the ant host. So, and this is also, it's not a fungus, but grasshoppers apparently are susceptible to another parasite that take it over and do strange things to the grasshopper. So I didn't realize it until I started researching this, that there's an HBO, and this is not why I picked this topic for tonight. I was actually listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, and he had mentioned it in passing about the ants and the grasshoppers, things like that. And hey, Cleo. And I just thought, hey, that's pretty interesting. Looked into it a little bit, and uh, that's what prompted the show. But come to find out, when I was researching some of this zombie fungus, uh, there's a oh, wait a minute, HBO. I guess it's like a series of like a, I won't say a movie, but it's a mini series or something. The Last of Us. So let's see if I can. The only reason I mention this is because when I started doing the research and put in zombie fungus, which, just made sense to me. Boom, all these things about this HBO special series, whatever, kept popping up. Let's see how that works. And pandemic television version, the fungus. Let's see. It says, I read it somewhere that it was HBO, and it's a TV series. And it uses this, I guess, a fungus that takes over humans. And it's a game too. Robert's right. It's a game that super popular. Well, how popular could it be if I didn't know about it? So it can't be super popular, right? Or I would have known about it. In fact, if I had known it, I probably would have played the game. So it's not super popular. It's somewhat known by others besides myself. We'll put it that way. But he is right. It is a game. It is a TV series. And it is based on this fungus that somehow, I believe, takes over humans. But the fungus I'm talking about strictly is for ants, insects. I don't know if it's more than ants or not. It comes from the rainforest, and it has, certain. The good thing about a lot of these is there's a very small window of the perfect elements, humidity, temperature, all these kind of things that it thrives in and grows in, and you take it out of that and it dies out. So unless somebody goes monkeying around with gain of function, then you got to worry, 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 worry. On a large scale, well, I don't know. I don't watch much TV anymore. I don't. I really don't watch a lot of TV, and I don't play a lot of games anymore. Maybe that's why, I'm missing out on some of these fungus things. Anyway, so here is something I'm going to say, and if you've watched any of these shows, you know I can read. I can read normal words. I cannot read scientific names. And it's funny because some of the things we talk about on the show is based on, scientific things, crazy things, science things that, go awry, or like we were talking about, crystals on one of the other shows recently. I just butcher them. And I'm thinking I'm just going to make up names for the zombie fungus because it is the genus this and the hobnobber of those, and it's a direct descendant of this, and the genome and the penome, all that stuff. I just don't know. And I like science in high school, but I have to hear it. I cannot read it. So if I hear it, then I can say it. Otherwise, no. I can't. So let me put my reading eyeballs on. And we'll jump over here to the window capture screen. Put me into the small box. Up in here. Get rid of my telephone number. There it is. Okay. I'm going to have to move me over, I think. Move me over to here. Where is the top? Why is that so tall? It should not be that tall. It should be like that. Shrink me down. Call me Annie. Alright. So, put myself on the other side, people. Because I kept covering up. I noticed when I watched some of my shows back that I kept covering up a lot of the pictures. And even though I know you like to look at me, you know, it's nice to see what in the devil I'm talking about. So, this is the science behind the zombie fungus from Last of Us. And this is how, you know, I found out about this somewhat popular series. The hit HBO series The Last of Us describes a post-pandemic world devastated by a mouse outbreak of the zombie fungus that infects and takes over the minds of its hosts. Originally a video game, the popular show was recently renewed for a second season. Although its premise is science fiction, the fungus in the show is actually based in scientific reality. Cordyceps. We're going to call them cordyceps because that's what it looks like right here. See that? Cordyceps. It's a so-called zombie fungus. It's a real fungus that is sometimes used in treatments and therapeutics in Chinese herbal medicine. So, although the cordyceps do not infect humans, it does infect a wide range of insects. In ants, cordyceps infects its victims by mind controlling the host to migrate to a humid climate. And this is what I was talking about. It has a specific set of rules that it has to play by, where the conditions are perfect for its growth. Now, what's funny, it's not funny to the ant. Zombie ant fungus, we're going cordyceps. It was discovered by a British naturalist, and we jumped over here to our famous Wikipedia stuff. Infects ants of a certain tribe, and the full pathogenesis begins characterized by alteration of the behavior patterns of the infected ant. Infected hosts leave their canopy nests. So like I said, this is a rainforest high up in the canopy. Yeah, it doesn't affect humans yet. So says Robert. Leaves their canopies nests in foraging trails for the forest floor, an area with a temperature and humidity suitable for the fungus growth. They then use their mandibles, and this is the ant. This is how it takes over the ant. So this breed, genome, whatever of ant, what do they call them? Tribe. This tribe of ants lives in the canopy of the forest. But when it gets infected, when the one ant gets infected by this fungus, the fungus grows in the ant and takes over its behavior. And the ant feels compelled and must travel, leave his home, go down the tree, and find a certain place. And then once it finds not just a certain place like an X, but a certain place as being, you know, the right temperature, the right moisture, the humidity in the air, all these things are right. So then the ant, that it can't control itself, uses its mandibles, its pinchers, to attach itself to a major vein on the underside of a leaf. So if you look at this picture here, this is the underside of the leaf. This is an ant, right? And it's attached itself, used its jaws to pinch into this vein on the leaf. And this is showing it on the underside, right? So where the host remains after its eventual death. So that's the ant. The host is the ant. The process leading up to the mortality takes 4 to 10 days and includes a reproductive stage where fruiting bodies grow from the ant's head erupting to release the fungus spores. In turn, it also susceptible to fungal infection itself, an occurrence that can limit its impact on the ant population, which has otherwise been known to devastate ant colonies. So this thing grows out of the ant's head and releases its spores into the air. So then the spores can go and try to reinfect other ants. So, of course, it kills the ant, right? I mean, there's no question about that. Let's see. Very weird organism. Nature is amazing. It's I don't know what other purpose this fungus serves. Now, it said that in China they use this fungus in herbal remedies. I don't know. I hope it works better than rhino horn because that stuff's just really hard to chew. But anyway, let's see what it has. Now, chemists correspond to discovery of small molecule agent. Let's see. The cordyceps are related species are known to engage in an active secondary metabolism for, among other reasons, the production of substances active in antibacterial agents that protect the fungus host ecosystem against further pathogens during fungal reproduction. Because of this secondary metabolism, interest in the species has been taken by natural products chemists with corresponding discovery of a small molecule agent of potential interest for use as human immunomodulatory, anti-infective, and anti-cancer agents. So, one thing I will say is I don't have examples. Maybe I'll try to do a show on this one other time. Would be in the rainforest. There are natural remedies for lots and lots of things. And that's kind of what they're talking about here is these scientists researching, naturally occurring chemicals, I guess, in fungi that can be utilized, in human medicines. So that's what they're talking about somehow or another. Yeah, like aspirin. Exactly like that, I guess, in a lot of ways. So, I guess everything, no matter how small, might be worth investigating. But there's just so many things I can't even guess at how much. Bet he was great at the party since he was a fun guy. Or gal. He might have been a fun gal and a fun guy. Yeah. Phil's putting his brain to work. Some of them dad jokes coming out. Some of those real knee slappers. They're getting into a lot of scientific stuff now. What the names mean and all this other kind of stuff. Oh, look, here we go. Here's your big picture. So there's the ant. Now this is along my lines, even though this is better than what I could ever draw. This is an ant. These are his mandibles, antennae, dorsal pronotum right here. So I guess when the ant dies, this fungus grows the stroma, and this is what it's calling the fruity body. See right here, the fruity body. And this is how the fungus reproduces. It grows this, and here are the spores, and I guess shows the stoma and the dorsal of the ant area where the fruiting body grows out of the ant. And then at some point, this pops or explodes or something like that, and the spores are released into the air. So, step one, the ant gets infected with the spores from the forest floor. Then the fungal cell population grows beside the ant's brain and secretes an array of metabolites which take over the central nervous system. Let me move this down a little bit if I can. Okay, I'm taking, well, you're not mentioned. Let's see. Let me do this for quick. All right, take me out. So then, 3, the secreted metabolites manipulate the ant's behavior, causing convulsions and climbing to a leaf at an optimal height. So he comes down out of the tree convulsing. He finds a leaf that's just the right place, and he goes to it. Oh no, I don't get to read this. I can't. There we go. All right. So that was 3. Where's 4? I see 5. 4. All right. So here, fungal cell populations grow within the ant's mandible muscles, gathering whatever numbers and amino acid balance. So it locks the jaws onto this leaf. And then 5, mandibular muscle atrophy, whatever, resulting in a lockjaw behavior. And there we're back to boom. It blows his head off. Crazy, man. Crazy. How do I get out of this? Let me out. All right, so that was one that talks about, ants. Ooh, man, that's nasty. Spores blooming from the ant's head. All right, let's get out of that. Quit it. Quit it. All right, so I talked about this grasshopper deal too. And where am I? Turn me back. Oh, man. There I am. All right, so this is not a fungus that goes into this grasshopper deal. It's a hairworm. Nematomorph. A parasitic nematomorph hairworm whose larvae develop in grasshoppers and crickets. This parasite is able to influence its host's behavior. Once the parasite is grown, it causes the grasshopper host to jump into water where the grasshopper will likely drown. So, it takes over its brain and makes it commit suicide. Nematomorph hairworm. Oh, look at that thing. Wow. Looks like that tapeworm. Most species range in size from 50 to 100 millimeters, reaching 2 meters. That's 79 inches in extreme cases and 1 to 3 millimeters in diameter. Horse hairworms can be discovered something. Wow. This parasite is able to influence its host behavior. We know about that. It does not influence its host to actively seek water over large distances, but only when it's already close to water. The microscopic larvae are ingested by their insect host and develop inside them into worms that can be 3 or 4 times longer than the host. The precise molecular mechanism underlying the modification of the host behavior is not yet known. A study in 2005 indicated that grasshoppers which contain the parasite express or create different proteins in the brains compared to uninfected grasshoppers. Some of these proteins have been linked to neurotransmitter activities, other to geotactic activity, or the body's response to change in gravity. Furthermore, it appears that the parasite produces proteins from the WNT family that act directly on the development of the central nervous system and are similar to proteins known from other insects, suggesting an instance of molecular mimicry. So, talking about gain of function potential. Wow. So let's look at this guy. Huh. So this is the worm, this is the grasshopper, and this is the worm leaving the grasshopper. Not very pleasant. not very pleasant. So what, let's see. Let me look at this other one. Let's see. New Scientist, Reddit, Colorado State University. Let's see what they have to say. What do they can they add anything more to this deal that we're already wondering about? So the horsehair worms and the grasshopper, whatever, are both harmless to humans. Moist conditions are favorable to the development population in relatively wet grassy areas. With very few exceptions, horsehair worms will only be found in water. The common name horsehair worm is derived from its occasional occurrence in livestock water troughs. So never drink out of livestock water troughs. Remember, no garden hoses, and no livestock watering troughs. So it says grasshoppers and perhaps earwigs can be infected. It's extremely large, far larger than the nearly microscopic nematodes often used to control various soil insect pests. The overall body color is very pale brown. The head area of the female is reddish brown. The adults are sometimes seen as they crawl along on plants, usually following rainy periods in late spring. During this time, they lay tiny golden brown eggs, which they attach to plants. Grasshoppers become infected when they incidentally consume the eggs as they feed. Within the grasshopper, the egg hatches and the young nematode burrows into the body cavity of the insect. So how can he eat that and not digest it? Or not kill it, crush it while he's trying to eat it? I don't understand that. Because it's like, I'm just going to use chickens as an example. Man, they eat worms, they eat all kinds of stuff, they scratch in their poop, they eat maggots, they eat all kinds of things on the ground. But yet you can kill them and cook their meat and, well, maybe cooking. But you know what I mean? It's not transmitted to us. Maybe it's because we cook it. Maybe. Huh. Maybe grasshoppers ought to take up cooking their food. But speaking of grasshoppers, this past weekend, kind of a side note, I like to watch that TV series Alone. And I don't seek it out, but I found out where I can watch some of the old series, old episodes and stuff. And so I started watching some of them. And one of the things where they were, where were they this time? Last time I watched it was in Patagonia. Shoot, now I can't remember where it was. But anyway, where they were was kind of a plains area. And there was grasshoppers everywhere. And they were using them to fish with. And it was a pretty good episode. Because they didn't put them in a place where, when I watched them in the British Columbia Islands, and they would try to catch ocean fish and stuff, well, they just couldn't do it. Now this was freshwater streams where they had them. Anyway, a lot of grasshoppers, and one of the persons would catch a whole bunch, and then shish kebab them, skewer them on sticks, and roast them, and then eat them. So it's probably a good thing that he was roasting them and cooking them, not just picking them up off the grass and eating them like a chicken would. Because, you know, I don't know. Mongolia? Were they in Mongolia? For some reason, I think that's right. And it was in the fall time. They were going into, getting ready to go into winter time. And the thing I like about the Alone is they let them take 10 items, this many. Let them take 10 survival items. And so, you know, they get really good shelters. And they make, you know, so they're not like naked and alone. So it's, you know, they have sleeping bags, they have clothes, they have boots, knives, hatchets. They can take all kinds of different things. And, you know, they have to, you know, using their skills still, they have to survive. I mean, I think it was in Mongolia. And they, man, the dudes were building log cabins and stuff. It was crazy. It was crazy. And whoever lasts the longest out of like the 10 people that go, they only get like $500,000. And they go through more crap than they would ever on Survivor, maybe. There's no challenges except trying to find food every day. So the eggs hatch and the young nematode burrows into the body cavity of insects. There they feed on the blood and grow, completing the stage of development in 1 to 3 months. Several may develop within a single insect, and when they have completed development, they may pack the body. The feeding by these nematodes seriously stresses the infected grasshopper, functionally sterilizing it and usually causing a premature death. Upon death, the nematode exit the host and move into the soil. Recently exited, the nematodes are sometimes seen in mid to late summer, often in a small puddle of water. This guy right here looks like he's a part of the plant. Maybe that's so. It says here, when the horsehair worm has completed its development, it exits the host as an adult. Emergence occurs in water, and behavior of infected insects apparently is altered so that they seek out and move to water. Outdoor horsehair worms typically emerge in small ponds or livestock watering tanks around homes. Infected crickets may move indoors, and the horsehair worm emerge in sinks, toilets, or other water sources. Huh. Crazy, man. Crazy. Oh, look at that cricket beetle thing. Ground beetle. Huh. Other worm-like organisms sometimes raise questions of identification. So very interesting. So apparently they try to get the grasshopper. The grasshopper feels compelled to go to water because that's where the adults like to emerge. Never tried raw grasshoppers. Now, I have a video on the channel here where the boys ate larvae and I think crickets, spicy crickets. I don't know, they got them at a fair or farmer's market or something like that. So I buy dried mealworms and dried black soldier fly larvae to feed my chicken. And it says right there on the bag, not fit for human consumption. So I think I am going to continue to suppress my urge to try one. Because I don't want to be that first human You know what I mean? I don't want to be ground zero for some kind of, oh wow, I didn't think that would infect a human. Huh. Yep. Asia eats fried insects and spiders. Yeah, they say tarantulas can be cooked and you singe them quick to burn off the hairs. I think I tasted dog food once doing that. What? Eating insects. So one of the things they talked about on Joe Rogan was talking about was one thing that is dangerous to humans. You know, these things have all said, well, these are basically insects and that kind of stuff. But one of the true zombie uh, parasites or diseases, and not so much, I don't think humans, I don't know, but definitely canines and other mammals, is the rabies uh, disease. So rabies is a fatal but preventable viral disease. It can spread to people and pets, and if they are bitten or scratched by a rabid animal in the United States, rabies is mostly found in wild animals like bats, raccoons, skunks, and foxes. So, according to Landon, let's see if this is true. He says opossums cannot get rabies, but it's extremely rare for the possums. It's believed that their low body temperature may inhibit the virus and make it difficult for it to survive. While possums are not totally immune to rabies, they rarely carry it. As a marsupial, possums have a lower body temperature than most other mammals, so their bodies don't provide a suitable environment for the virus. Well, there you go. All right. Encephalitis in humans and other mammals. Historically referred to as hydrophobia, the fear of water. Uh, due to the symptom of panic when presented with liquids to drink. Early symptoms can include fear and abdominal sensations at the site of exposure. These symptoms are followed by one or more of the following symptoms: nausea, vomiting, violent movements, uncontrolled excitement, fear of water, inability to move parts of the body, confusion, and loss of consciousness. Once symptoms appear, the result is virtually always death. Regardless of treatment, the time period between contracting the disease and the start of the symptoms is usually 1 to 3 months, but can vary from less than 1 week to more than 1 year. Time depends on the distance that the virus must travel among peripheral nerves to reach the central nervous systems. It's spread by when an infected animal bites or scratches a human or other animal. Saliva from an infected animal can also transmit rabies if the saliva comes in contact with the eyes, mouth, or nose. So spitting, even though you don't have to be bit by a rabid raccoon, it enters your can enter your body other ways. Globally, dogs are the most common animal involved. What Joe Rogan was talked about rabies symptoms. The reason he brought it up, it is kind of, he thought, zombie-like, because once the animal is infected, it, I guess, became, vicious and mainly wanted to go out and fight and bite and chew on other things in order to spread it. And so when he was talking, it made it sound like the rabies virus compelled the host to bite or fight or spread the virus, you know, but I think it just drives them crazy and they'll interact or attack anything just because, you know, it just drives them insane. Uh, so here, da, 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 da. Oh, I can't. Where's my X? Get rid of this. You're messing up my show. Come on, people. Yes, I like puppies. Signs of rabies. In the furious form, wild animals may appear to be agitated, bite, or snap at imaginary and real objects and drool excessively. In the dumb form, wild animals may appear tame and seem to have no fear of humans. There are other signs such as the animal appearing drunk or excessively wobbly, circling, seeming partially paralyzed, acting disorientated, or mutilating itself. However, most of these signs can also be indicative of other diseases like distemper or lead poisoning. There are few behavioral signs that are a telltale sign of rabies alone. If a typically nocturnal animal such as a raccoon or skunk is active during the day and exhibiting abnormal behavior, you should seek advice from your local animal control, animal organization, or other people. So maybe that's why, you know, in the furious stage, you know, they want to go around and, you know, they're just pissed off and want to bite something. So I don't know if what Joe Rogan was saying is completely true, that, like I said, he made it sound like the rabies virus compelled the host to go out and attack something in order to spread it, in order to spread the virus, you know, to another host, and they're perpetuating, you know, the sickness, the illness, whatever. I think it just affects them. Like I said, there's the dumb state, the ferocious state, you know, they go through these transitions while they're infected. So, but rabies is no joke. That's what kind of worries me about. I mean, I've been camping. I've gone to campgrounds where raccoons are just, they've learned. They're cute, they're cuddly. If they come out even when humans are around, they're going to get scraps. I was at the same campground where I saw, you know, raccoons out during the day. You'd go out walking in the, you know, after supper time or even after lunch. And I've gone around the campgrounds and the raccoons would get in under people's, you know, easy ups where they had screen netting over them, zipped into them to keep the mosquitoes and stuff and flies at bay. And the raccoons got under it. They're not dumb. They go under it, climb up on the picnic table. Man, they're having their picnic. And, you know, the people aren't there. They've gone out to the beach, or they're out walking themselves, or they've gone to the store, or whatever. And these raccoons were in there just helping themselves. So, you know, that's what, you know, kind of worries me is it just a learned behavior, or, you know, if you see a raccoon out during the day, I saw one the other day out sitting alongside the road, and it didn't seem to be afraid at all that the cars were going by. So, you know, was it just, did it have rabies? I don't know. Didn't look vicious. And that's what, you know, scares me with people like, oh, look at the little raccoon. He looks lost. We should help him. Not. No, no, and big no. You know? go on about your business and leave the little raccoon to somebody else to worry about. But I did help a raccoon one time. I will have to find, let me see if I can find this real quick. So we're going to do this, and we'll do this, because I'm going to try to find this in my, it was on my phone, but it may not be on the computer. If it's not, if it's not, it might be, let's see, desktop, where is it? Oh my gosh, look at this video. I would never find that thing. Wow. Let's see. Large icons. Oh, now I can see what's going on. So I just went through my phone. My phone kept telling me, dude, you're running out of space. Dude, you're running out of space. Come on. You're running out of space. You need to fix this. And so I got on a couple weekends in a row and not deleted. Have a hard time. I'm a pack rat. I have a hard time getting rid of things, and that includes my, the stuff on my phone. Even though I don't think I really need, old pictures from, a bicycle I had at one point. So anyway, I moved them to the computer. I'm trying to find that one. I remember seeing it. I'm thinking, hey, there's that video of that raccoon. Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it. It's so hard, so hard, so hard to find it. There's the videos of all those seagulls in the parking lot of a Hardee's. That wasn't very interesting, but it was interesting. You know. Oh, there's some Christmas stuff. I don't know what happened to it. Because it's all right here. I don't think it's on my. I don't think it's on this phone. Anyway, I saw a raccoon alongside the bridge to nowhere, if you know where I'm talking about. The bridge to nowhere. And called animal control and helped them free it, I guess would be a way to put it. If I could find it, I would show it to you. Because it was very interesting. Whoa. Hello, Sigourney. Sigourney Weaver. She's one of my favorites. Nope, I don't see it. All right, so if I find it, maybe I'll put it up on my YouTube as a short. I'll have to trim it down because it's more than a minute long, and I think that's the max you could have in a short. Is like a minute. So, weed eating a delicacy. Everybody's still talking about eating grasshoppers and such. Why are we still talking about eating grasshoppers? Change the size of my little thumbnails to see if it would help me pick it out of the bunch. You know, I saw it all the time, and now that I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Can't go. Just not happening. Just not happening. There's some snow videos. I wish it would snow some more. Oh, that ain't it. Unless it's one of these three right here that don't, for some reason, they don't show a thumbnail. Hello. Hello. Is that it? No. Okay, cannot open that style of file. They're all going to be like that. That's the reason I can't get a thumbnail, because they are not a format that Windows recognizes. All right, well, sorry about that. No raccoon videos for you all this evening. So I hope you learned something interesting. If not, I still appreciate y'all coming by. Robert, Clell, thanks a lot. I'll try to find that, put it up on YouTube so everybody can see the great deeds that I've done and admire me for them. All right, so if you're not one of my regulars and you've watched it this long, thank you very much. I hope you have subscribed to the channel, turn the notification bell on so that when I go live or I put up a post or another short, you won't miss out on any of those. Told y'all that I was going to try to do better on podcasts, putting them out there. I'm a slacker. So I'm going to try to do that. Look for it on Google Podcasts, which might be going away in the next year. But I'm on Spotify too, on podcasts. So just look for the Minutes with Milo. And if you don't have time to watch videos, then basically that's what it is. It's the videos I record, the live shows I record, put out there as podcasts. Because some people don't call this a show, they call it a podcast. Yeah, call it what you want. Just watch it. All right, everybody. Thanks again. And Thursday's coming up. Next show, 9 o'clock, I hope. All right. If the creeks don't rise, God willing, we'll be here Thursday. Bye, everybody.